Hi there, thanks for tuning into my channel. My name is Abatan Sheriffdeen and welcome back to Excel Island. In this video, I'll be walking you through all 20 plus types of charts and graphs in Microsoft Excel. We'll be learning 5 key concepts about each chart type, what it is commonly used for, types of data set for each chart type, how to structure the data set for each chart type, how to interpret each chart type, and pro tip from top Excel expert. Also, I'll be showing you how to customize and format each chart type. So let's get started. But wait, if this is the first time on my channel and you love to be a Microsoft Excel Pro with state-of-the-art tutorials, please do consider subscribing to my channel and turn on the notification bell to be the first to know when I drop new content. Also, I've included the timestamp in the description of the video so you can jump to any type of chart and graph you love to learn. And if you don't have access to all the chart and graph in Excel, I encourage you to watch this video first where I showed you how to download and install Office 365 for free, which will give you access to all the chart and graph we'll be learning in this video. Without any other delay, let's get started. Hi there, so welcome back from the short break. The first and second type of chart and graph we'll be looking at is what is called the bar and the column charts, which is commonly used for comparing numerical data from different categories. Examples of data set you can use on this chart type are total sales by product type, or revenue by department by quarter, or population by country. One pro tip is that use stacked or clustered bars or columns to group by subcategory or compare multiple metrics. So let's jump into Microsoft Excel and play with this chart type. So here we are in Microsoft Excel. Before we get started, just so you can follow along, I've included a link in the description of this video for you to download these exercise files. So moving on, for this demo, we've got ticket sales by genre by month. Also, when you take a closer look, you'll see total sales by genre and total sales by month. So to insert a bar or a column chart, let's start simple. I'll select my range, hold the control and select the total sales by genre. I'll go to the insert tab, bar and column chart section, and let's start with a simple 2D bar. I'll make that big so you can all see. I'll change the chart title to read total sales the axis size to bold also. Make this pop out a little bit. So how do you interpret this chart type? Pretty straightforward. What this chart type is telling us is that comedy, thriller and romance drove the highest sales by movie genre, then lastly by documentary, with comedy being the highest that drove the highest ticket sales. We can also look at total sales by month. To do that, I'll just select my month row, control, then select the total sales for each month. Go to the insert tab under the bar and column chart section, and let's just insert a simple 2D column. You can make that big so you can all see. Then chart title, let's give it total sales by month. Make that bold also. The axis bold, next axis bold, a little bit pop out. Just like the bar chart, this column chart is showing us the total sales by month. And when you look closely at the month starting from January, you could see that the highest month with its highest ticket sale is August, September, then followed by October. And you can come up with your theory here that towards the end of the year, towards the festive period, people tend to watch more movies. You can just say that. So that's it. The first and the second chart, bar and color chart, how to insert them and how to interpret them. So let's move on. The third and fourth types of chart and graph we'll be looking at is what is called the histogram and the Pareto charts, which is commonly used for showing the distribution of a continuous data set. Examples of data sets you can use on this chart type are frequency of test scores among students, distribution of height and weight, and distribution of population or age group. One pro tip here is that you should adjust the bin size to customize the grouping of values, and I'll be showing you this pro tip as we move along. So let's jump into Microsoft Excel and have a demo. For this demo is a little data set for names, heights, and ages, and this is a perfect data set containing continuous variable. The objective here is to show how heights, weights, or ages are distributed among the little population. So to insert an histogram chart, all I have to do is just select one of the variables. I'll just go for height, which is in inches. I'll go to the insert tab. Under the Histogram and Pareto section, I'll click that. I'll just insert the histogram charts. Let me make that bold so you can see. And let's just change the chart title real quick, which is, you can just name it height distribution. I'll make that bold and a little bit pop up. And you can see that the highest height falls here, you can see. But one pro tip is to format the bin size or adjust it. I just right click and format axis. This format axis will pop up, which is set automatic. So let's change it to bin width and make the interval to be 1. So it will just click like enter. Cool. So we have that bell curve shape, which is much more better. You agree? You can see the intervals between this bin is just 1 1. Let me make that a little bit pop out. There you can see. Cool. You can see from the height of 67 to 68 we only have 3 values of 9 observation, with the highest heights being from the height of 73 to 74, and we have how many observations? That's 175 people in our population that have heights within that range. So that's how you interpret this chart type. I'll just make that a little bit small. Now let's go for a Pareto chart. I'll just copy, then I paste it here. Since I've pasted my Pareto chart, all I have to do is just change chart type real quick. With this, I can just select change chart type. I'll select my Pareto chart. You can see, then boom, I've inserted the second type of histogram called Pareto, which is also showing same distribution. You can see the height of 73 to 74 is the highest, which is just showing the bins or the bars from the right hand side, from the highest to the lowest rather. Then it's included a cumulative frequency. That's the major difference between the Pareto chart and the histogram chart. They're all both telling same story, but the bars are in from the highest to the lowest in a Pareto chart, and it adds a cumulative frequency. So ladies and gentlemen, there you have it, histogram and Pareto chart and how to interpret it. The fifth type of chart type we'll be looking at is what is called the area chart, and this shows changes in data composition over time. Examples of data sets you can use on this chart type are population by continent by decade, percentage of total downloads by browser by week. You can also go and use sales by department by month, from our column and bar chart demo. So the pro tip here is that keep the number of unique categories relatively low to maintain clarity. So let's jump into Microsoft Excel and have a demo. So for this demo, we've got same data sets we use in our bar and column charts example, and the area chart will be very useful here for two-dimensional visualization. And have a closer look to the way I'm going to be selecting my array of data here. So I'll just go ahead and select this like this, excluding the totals. Do you get it now? I'll go to the insert tab under this section. Here we have 2D area, stacked area, 3D area or stacked, and 100% stacked. I'll just go for this chart type, and I'll make that bold. And let me make it big, so you can just change the title to ticket sales. This we are seeing ticket sales by months by genre. Let's make that bold, a little bit pop out. Make this axis also bold, pop out a little bit, make our month also bold and pop out a little bit. And you notice there that this is what is called two-dimensional visualization. We have two different metrics in one chart. We have our months and we have our journal. This is the legend here, so make it bold. Now you can see this chart type shows overall volume by total height, of which you can see this is for comedy, this is for thriller, this is for documentary, and this is for romance. And from the bar and column chart example, we already know the comedy section movie genre drove the ISO, but right now we are looking at it as month goes by. You can see from the beginning of the month, the comedy section drove the ISO to January, February, March, and start declining towards April, May, June, July. Then it goes up a little bit at the end of September, and towards the end of the year it goes down. But different story for thriller. From the beginning of the month, the sales were pretty low based on the composition of this data here, and towards the end of the year, August, September, October, towards the end of the year, generally the sales went up high. And it's entirely a different story for documentary and romance. And so, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. This is how you interpret the area chart. The sixth type of chart and graph we'll be looking at is what is called the line chart. And the line chart is commonly used for visualizing trends over time. Examples of data set or variables you can use on this chart type are stock prices by hour, average temperature by month, or profit by quarter. One pro tip here is that you should use linear or polynomial trend lines to visualize patterns or forecast future periods. Also note that you can combine a line and a column chart to form what is called a combo chart, especially when you have two variables on different scales. And we're going to do a combo chart towards the end of the video. So let's jump to Microsoft Excel and have a demo. For this demo, we have the data set showing stock price by day for Google and Amazon. And this is not the real stock price for Google and Amazon, so don't go and invest looking at this data set. So back to the video. So to insert a line chart, all I have to do is select the range like this and go to the insert tab under the line chart section. I'll just select a simple 2D or two different tab. Let's go with this. Then I will make that big so you can all see. Boom. So I could just change the chart title to maybe stock prices. Stock price. Make it bold and just increase font a little bit, and I could also make the date bold also. Cool. Quick one, and boom, you can see what the line chart is showing us is how prices is changing or fluctuating over time. And let's do some formatting here, quick formatting. You notice from within the price change of $100 to 400, we don't have any data sets. So if you just change, I click format axis and set the minimum. So rather than setting it to 0, you can set it to, let's say, 400 to make your charts more readable. Just hit enter and boom, I think this is cool. You can see as the prices are changing for the different stock prices over time, and at the end of the day, during the second day of the 6th month, the prices converge here. And you can also add the trend line. You can right click, select the chart type, select an axis, and just add the trend line. You can see I can add a linear for this. I can also add a trend line for this. I can add a linear also. Now what this trend line does is that you can use it to forecast the future stock prices based on the what? Based on past data sets. So to forecast or see what the stock price is going to be in a selected number of days, what you have to do is right click on a trend line. You can change it to any trend line you like, but you can leave it at linear or polynomial. Then you come here, see forecast. You can forecast forward by adding the number of days based on how the date is sectioned, or you forecast backward. Forecasting backward doesn't really make sense, but you will always want to forecast forward. What you have to do is add the number of days, and boom, you are going to see it's going to predict what the future stock price is going to be based on number. I can also do the same thing for here, add the number of days, and you are forecasting already. Voila. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, how to interpret insights a line chart. The number 7 and number 8 types of chart and graph we'll be looking at is what is called the pie and the donut chart, and it's commonly used for comparing proportions that total 100%. Example of data set you can use on this chart type are percentage of budget spent by department, breakdown of site traffic by sources, the proportion of internet users by age range. And one pro tip here is to keep the number of slides small to maximize readability, and you can also use a donut chart to visualize more than one series at once, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So let's jump into Microsoft Excel and have a demo. So for this demo, we got a very small, pretty basic data set. We've got category level data on cost and revenue. You can see the prices for apparel, electronics, toys, and housewares. So to insert a donut chart, I'll just select this. You can just select it like this. I'll start with a pie chart rather, and go to the insert tab under the pie and donut chart section. Click that and insert a simple 2D pie. Then boom, you can just see, let's make that bold. I'll just leave it at cost since we are showing cost. Let's make it bold. Increase the font size a little bit, and you can see our pie is just blank. So all I have to do is right click and add data labels. You can just format our data labels. Format data labels. You can make it to be at the center. Make it bold and increase the font size. You can also change it to a different type. If other from value, you can change it to a percentage if you like. So I kind of like the percentage more. Let's change the font here, maybe to white. Make it a little bit large. So what this is showing here is that the highest percentage has the highest cost, and that is this, which is 38%, which is for apparel, then followed by electronics, then followed by toys and games, and followed by housewares. So that's basically how you interpret a pie chart. So let's do a donut chart. All I have to do is Ctrl C to make this quick, Ctrl V, and I'll just change the chart type real quick. So I'll just change it to a donut. Simple. Okay, and the difference between a donut chart, which is visible, is that the donut chart is just a pie chart with the middle cut out, but that is the visible difference. And I'll show you another difference right now. Let's say I would love to visualize the revenue on same data sets, on same chart type. All I have to do for this is to right click and select data and add to the data series. I'll just bring this here. Let's add to it. I just select series name, which is revenue, and series values, which is this. Click on OK, and you can select the category also, just to make it complete, which is this, and I click on OK, and boom, I can just click add data series, and it adds the value for me, which is pretty straightforward. Let's make it bold quick formats. I can also format it the way I like. Let's do it with black. I can just format data labels. Also, let's leave it as series name rather than values. You can just leave this one as series name also rather than value. Let's make it black also. Revenue for each donut, for each ring. You can see for the pie chart, for the donut chart rather, we could add more ring. So you can see more ring, another ring. Then this is showing the relative size of the cost and the revenue generated for each word, for each category. If I try to do same thing with this, I click select data, same scenario, add. My series name is this, then my series value is this. Yep, which is good. Click on OK. You can just, for the sake of being fair, click on OK also, then OK, and boom. You see, the pie chart doesn't know what to do. It does nothing. You can see this data range is still selected, and it doesn't do anything. But when you do that for the donut chart, you can see the difference. So that's another difference between a pie and a donut chart. To make the donut size or smaller, just right click, format data series. You can change the size or size here, and there you have it. You can see. So ladies and gentlemen, pie and donut charts. The number 9 types of chart and graph we'll be looking at is what is called the scatter plot. And this is commonly used for exploring correlation or relationship between two series or two variables. So examples of data set you can use on this chart type are hours of television watched by age. Is there any correlation between that? Or ice cream sales and average temperature by day? Or the number of goals, scores, and salary earned by a player. So one pro tip is that you can also add a trend line or line of best fit to quantify the correlation between the two variables. And also remember that correlation does not imply causation. So let's jump into Microsoft Excel and have a demo. So for this demo, we've got baseball data by year, by team, and other number of metrics like HR, RS, RA, and so on. But we'll be focusing on these two formatted columns, RS and wins. And let me just select that, like that, and Control select this. I'll go to the Insert tab, look for the scatter plot section, and here we have it, scatter plot. Just select this basic one, and boom, we've inserted our scatter plots. And this looks, what is this? How can you interpret this? So this look way worse. You agree with me? Let's play. We just have dots all over the places, and the dots are representing what? Each team in the data set. Okay, so they represent each team in the data set. Let me just come back here and do some quick format, and you notice there are no any data range here. That means our axis here, we could set it to the minimum of maybe 400 or 500. I'll just right click, format axis, and change the minimum to, let's say, 400, and boom, you can see our team spread out. You can also make this, you can see from 0 here to 40 there are no any data set. We also change this one to a minimum of 40, and this is how you make your charts look more readable. And I think we are cool. Then let's give it a chart title, quick one. You can just call it team or baseball team or whatever. Baseball team, make it bold, quick formatting, and just make this bold. Now is the best time not to have just bunch of numbers there. Just give it as this title, make this one too bold. So just select the chart, go to chart design, add chart element, axis title, primary horizontal. You can call this RS, which is once called. Make that bold. So increase the font size. Same thing here, chart design, axis title, primary vertical. Just call this one wins. And boom, this is more making sense like this. You can see the runs scored and the wins. Also, so if you just right click, select marker, no line, you can say solid line or no line. Change the fill to be different, and boom, you can see that is cool to the eye. And that's just some quick formatting. So the base part, the hardest part of this is how do you interpret this type of chart. And as you can see, the dots are a little bit spread out. So the more compact the dots are, the more correlation there is between the two variables, and the less compact the dots are, the less correlation there is between the two variables. And I'm going to prove that to you. All I have to do is right click, format data series, or add the trend line. I just come here to this display house squared value. This is the trend line position right here. Also display the house squared value, which is going to prove to me if they are truly correlated. I can just bring that here, make it bold, and have it pop out, and boom, you can see it has the house squared value of 0.2, which is less, which is not even up to 1. If you're having an house squared value of 0.8, 0.9, which is close to 1, which is going to tell you that these two variables are truly correlated. For this chart type, these two variables are not in any way correlated, and you can know that from the spreading out of the dot, or the more compact the dot are. I can also format my trend line and make it bold, a little bit pop out. Also change the fill, like orange, and increase the width. You can see. So boom, so there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, the scatter plot in Excel. The number 10 types of chart and graph we'll be looking at is what is called the bubble chart. And the bubble chart is a scatter plot but with a third dimension, which is the size of the bubble. So examples of data sets you can use on this chart type are product sales by revenue, market size, the income per capita or life expectancy and population by country. So pro tip here is that to distinguish across categories, add color as a fourth dimension. But I won't really advise using any pro tip here for this bubble chart. Just leave it the natural way. So let's jump into Microsoft Excel and have a demo. In this demo, we've got same data set as our scatter plot. And I said earlier, the only difference between a bubble chart and a scatter plot is the relative size of the bubble. So to insert a bubble chart, I'll be using just these three variables here, and I'll be adding these variables manually. I'll just go to insert tab, bubble, and this scatter plot. I want this time around bubble. Now I'll bring this right here. Let's create some more space. For that, let's make that big. Then right click, select data. I'm going to add data series. And you see for my bubble chart, we have three different variables to write or variables to add. Just select series name. Let's give it, as usual, baseball team. Then my series value is going to be x-axis. It will be this run differential. And select that manually. I don't want to add so many variables, so I can easily have a good visual. Y values is going to be the wins from here to here, just for a few years. You can see here 2000 only. Then my bubble size is going to be the relative. It's going to show the salary of different team. That will be the bubble size. Same thing, just there. You can okay, and let's see what we have. And boom, this look really rough. So let's give it some quick formatting. Just have a look. Let's start with the axis. You can see the axis here is starting from -250, and this is crossing at 0. Just right click, format axis. This pops up. Let me bring it here. See where it shows vertical axis cross. Give it an axis value. Let's give it something like -250. Hit enter. Boom, and it crosses there. Let's set a minimum of -200. Also -200. Boom, and this for this let's set a minimum of 40. So our chart looks more readable. 40, and boom, it's starting to make sense right now. I can just right click on the bubble. You can see each bubble is too large and clumped together. It's that it is showing the area of the bubble. Size represents area of the bubble. Let's make it width of bubbles, which is going to shrink it down a little bit. Cool. You can also shrink it down a little bit. For that, let's make it 50%. Voila, this is better. And let's go back also to our axis. Maybe let's make it 50. Better. I can select the bubbles are just there, no variables. Let's add data labels to the bubbles. Add data labels, and it's going to show different number. I can right click on it and format data labels. Let's format the data labels first. Format data labels. You can see label option. We have different Y bubbles, show leader lines. Let's go for series name. Nope. Let's go for values from cell. So I can just point to a particular cell to have it as label. I'll just go for the team ID. Oops, just right there. And okay. Let's see what we've got. This is better. I can just make it to the center of the box. Just deselect the Y values. This is better. Also, we can add a trend line. Let's add a trend line, and boom. Let's format the trend line. Make it a little bit bold. We just change the fill option, make it orange, increase the size. You can see it. You can see, and this starts to make sense. Let's make this bold also. Wow, we don't have axis title, which is bad. Child design axis title is going to be primary horizontal. You can call this on diff. Make it bold for this also. Primary vertical, just call it wings. Make it bold, just increase the font a little bit. Same thing here, increase the font a little bit. And cool, we are cool to go right now. And boom, now this starts to make sense. You can see that the team here has the highest wins. This team here, even though the bubble side, the salary of the team members are not that much, but this team has the highest wins with at least over 100 wins in the middle of the pack, while the other teams are all compact. And this looks like this wins is correlated to run differential. To prove that, I could select the trend line, format it, format trend line, scroll down and display the R squared value. Then we have a R squared value here. Bring it up, make it bold. Just increase the size of the R squared value, and boom, we're having an R squared value of 0.88. Let's say like 0.8, which is close to 1. And you can see this, that means there's a strong correlation between wins and run differential, or between these two variables. And ladies and gentlemen, this is how you insert a bubble chart, format it, customize it, and interpret it. Let's go to the next chart type. The number 11 types of chart and graph we'll be looking at is what is called the box and the whisker chart. And this is commonly used for visualizing statistical properties across the data set. And it plays a similar role and function just like a regular histogram. So examples of variables you can use on this chart type are comparing historical annual rainfall across cities, or comparing mean and median height or weight by country, or even analyzing distribution of values and identifying outliers. Pro tip is that you design and format tabs to customize the look of your chart. So just use the design and the format tabs to customize the look of your chart. So let's jump to Microsoft Excel and have a demo. For this demo, we've got different players by home runs or goals scored by different season. To insert a box and whisker chart, I'll have to select my series like this, go to the statistical section, and here we have box and whisker charts. Boom, just insert that like this. Let's change the chart title maybe to top home runs. Make it bold, increase the font size. Let's make the axis bold also, the player names bold. Also increase the size to make it look more readable. So increase the size, just format, add axis title. Don't need that as name. Let's do for this like home runs or goals scored. Home runs. That's better. You agree with me that to insert this type of chart is pretty easy than what we've been doing so far. But how do you now interpret this funny chart? Well, for each series in our data set, that means for each player, we've got a box. You can see the blue box, which is called the box or a rectangle box, and a vertical line above and below, which is called the whisker. hence the name box and whisker charts. So Whisker shows you the maximum and the minimum value. The Whisker shows the maximum and the minimum value, while the horizontal line in the middle here, it shows you the median. You can see a little bit of X here, which shows you the mean. You can see this chart contains a whole lot of statistical data sets. So what you can say right now is that after understanding that this chart type gives a lot of statistical analysis about your data set, you can see from the bottom here of the whisker to the bottom of the box is your first quartile. From the bottom of the box to the line in the middle is a second quartile. From the line in the middle to the top of the box is your third quartile. And from the third of the box to the top of the top whisker is your fourth quartile. And that's how you interpret this chart type. You can also see there's a player here called Mabi with a mean of 2.23.8 and a wider difference from the mean to the maximum value of 75. We put it here. If you to say the value of 75, that is the maximum value and the minimum value is 8. And you can say this is an outlier. Probably the player must have scored a whole lot of home runs. Then we go back to the data set actually. We check the player down here. You can see these are here. The first season was 14 goals, 12 goals, 10 goals, and all of a sudden in the 22 and 24 season scored more goals. Wow, you can see that player is pretty good, or there's an outlier. So that is how you interpret a box and a whisker chart. Let's move on to the next charts. The number 12 and number 13 types of chart and graph we'll be looking at is what is called the Treemap and the Sunburst charts. And the Treemap and Sunburst charts are commonly used for visualizing hierarchical data with natural groups and subgroups. So example of data set you can use on this chart type are revenue by book title, subgenre and genre. You can say population by city, by state and region, or number of employees in a department by office. So pro tip here is that use Treemaps when you're only visualizing one or two hierarchical levels, maybe topic and subtopic, or when relative sizes are important, and Sunburst charts to visualize the depth of multiple hierarchical levels. So also note here that to make your raw data source is grouped. So make sure your raw data source is grouped and sorted before creating a Treemap or hierarchical chart or Sunburst chart. So let's jump into Microsoft Excel and have a demo. So for the Treemap demo, we've got ticket sales by title, by rating, by genre, and it's a great example of a data set with natural grouping and subgrouping. So to insert a Treemap, all I have to do is just select the data range like this, go to the Insert tab, under the Treemap section, I'm going to select a Treemap, and it drops it in once, quick and fast. Let me make that big so you can see. And just delete the chart type, that's better. And you can see what the Treemap is showing us. We have different color scale. We have the gray, the blue, orange and yellow, and I can actually click on each color to drill down to each section. And you can see this for the oral section. You can see the relative size of each is different from each other, and this is showing that the oral category drove the highest sales, followed by comedy, followed by drama, then followed by sci-fi. And inside each genre, the horror film called Clown Parade has the highest ticket sales, followed by Ezekiel Strike Back. Then in the comedy section, Trapeze Cards drove the highest ticket sales, and for this the drama section, Unexpected Delivery drove the highest sale. Now let me show you what I mean by you should make sure your data set is already grouped. Let's say I want to change this horror movie called What's Wrong with Grammar to another section, another genre. Maybe it's changed from horror movie to a comedy. Let me just type comedy there and I hit enter. See what happens to my chart. My chart automatically creates a new category called comedy just to make up for that error in grouping. So make sure your data set is well grouped or sorted before using the Treemap. I just Ctrl Z to get back to that. And ladies and gentlemen, this is your Treemap. Let's move on to Sunburst charts. So for the Sunburst chart demo, we have our offices in Boston, New York, and Chicago. So under each office, we have different departments. Under a department, there's a supervisor, then there's a manager, then there's an employee. You can see this is a level much more steep and deeper for a Treemap to visualize, and this is perfect for the Sunburst chart. And you notice there's a counts column here. This is just there so the chart knows what to chart, so there won't be a disparity in the sizes of the chart, and I will show you what that means right now. So to insert that, just select the range like this, go to the insert tab. Under the section, you see we have the Sunburst chart here. I'll just insert that. Same process, I could just delete the chart title. Doesn't really mean we could still interpret our chart clearly well. And I could just make that bold so you can all see. And boom. So same process as earlier, you can see different levels. I can just drill in to each level to see that okay, this is the Boston office. We have the marketing department, the sales, IT. Under the marketing department, we have Joe as the supervisor. A team, we have Sally. Under team, we have the employee called Sarah. So same process, New York office, sales department, the supervisor, the manager, and you can just do that. Under this section, Tina, we have manager Tina, we have an employee called Jamie under it. So that's basically how you interpret the Sunburst chart, which is cool chart anyway. So the relative size there, which is making it equal and look more perfect, is due to the count column from here. So that's the reason why you have to have a count column in that place, just a series of 1, just to make it look well visualized. So there you have it, Treemap and Sunburst charts. The number 14 types of chart and graph we'll be looking at is what is called the Waterfall chart. And the Waterfall chart is used to show the net value after a series of positive and negative contribution. So example of data set you can use for this chart type are maybe you want to track your personal income and spending, or corporate balance sheet analysis. So pro tip here says subtotals can be used to construct checkpoint to separate different type of profits and losses, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So let's jump into Microsoft Excel and have a demo. So for the Waterfall demo, you see a data set that represents a record of financial analysis, starting from gross revenue here, then a series of addition and subtractions in red, then you have some totals with gross profits, operating income, and finally net income. So to insert a waterfall chart, just do this. So select the whole data range. I'll just select from gross revenue, column A to B to like this. Go to the insert tab. We have our waterfall here. Just insert that, click OK, and boom, let's make that bold so we can see it pretty well. Or let me just delete the chart title, and boom, just make that like this. And you notice we have our legend shows blue, orange, and ash or gray. And you notice we only have blue and orange on our chart type, and this is so because our section here, gross profit, is the what is the total. We've not set it as total. So to get that done, we have to do this section called gross profit, which are the subtotal, operating income, and the final net income should be set as total. To do that, this is 8,000. Look, this is it, $78,000, which is this. I'll just select that, isolate that, right click and set as total, and boom, same thing as this, set as total, and same thing as this, set as total. And great, now we have a better visualization. You can see this displayed the waterfall, just like a water falling down a river or a stream. You can just see that on the top of a river to a stream. And we have our starting balance of $100,000, which is our gross revenue. We have a loss of $30,000. Then we have a return of $8,000 from here return, and a total of a gross profit total of 78. Then a loss, again that is a subtotal, again a loss, then finally a net income of $26,200. And this is perfect for a what? For a waterfall chart to display it. So ladies and gentlemen, waterfall charts in brief. Let's move on to the next chart. The number 15 type of chart and graph we're looking at is what is called the funnel chart. And the funnel chart is commonly used to show progress through the stages of a funnel. Examples of data sets you can use on this chart type are the volume of views or click and sales on an e-commerce website, the number of runners who reach each checkpoint in a marathon, and pro tip here says that to illustrate the percent of users rather than the number in each funnel sub, use percent of total calculation. So let's jump into Microsoft Excel and let's do some funnel chart demo. For the funnel chart demo, we can see a data set showing marathon progress with 6 different checkpoints with the number of runners at each checkpoint. So to insert a funnel chart, all I have to do is select this section and go to the insert tab. Under this section, you can see the funnel chart here. Just click on that. Let's make that bold. If we just see this as, let's change the title to marathon progress, make it bold and easy to read, and boom. Now this tells you that at the starting point we have over 100,000 runners. At the 5k point, 5 kilometer, less than that of drop, 10k, and above the halfway we have 79,000 people reaching there. And at mile 25 and the finish line, we have at least half of the starting runners finishing the race. And this number is kind of confusing. I prefer the other method of just using the charts on the percentage. So let me change that a bit. I'll just manually select this, then control select this and visualize it, and you see the difference right now, which is better. So same thing, you can show that in percentages, and I think this is much more cooler and easier to read than this one. You agree with me? Starting point we have 100%, at 5k we have 99%, 10k 88%, halfway 79%, and from mile 25 to the finish line we have at least 50% of the runners reaching the mile 25 and 50% finishing the race. And that is how you show the stages of a funnel with the funnel chart. So there you have it, funnel charts in a brief. Let's move on to the next chart. The number 16 type of chart and graphs we want to look at is what is called the radar chart. And what the radar chart is used for is to show two-dimensional charts to plot 3 or more quantitative variables in relation to a focal point. An example of data set of variables you can use with a radar chart are maybe comparing test scores across multiple subjects, or sales of different types of vegetables by month, or visualizing personality test results across different 2 to 3 different people or 5 people. So pro tip here is that you should normalize each statistic to the same scale, e.g. from 0 to 1, 1 to 10, 1 to 100, to reduce noise and increase impact. So also limit the number of categories or data series. So let's jump into Microsoft Excel and have a demo. So for this radar chart demo, we have got the big 5 personality trait score, which is openness, conscientiousness, oh that's very hard to pronounce, sorry, you get it, neuroticism, extraversion, and agreeableness. So to insert a radar chart, all I have to do is select my data range like this, insert the chart, and then we go to this chart. Here we have radar chart. We have also the option. Let's go for this simple option here. I'll just make that bold so you can all see. Let's make it big. let's delete the chart title. We don't really need it in this section. You can just delete this scaling, which is showing from 0 to 100. You can delete that. And let's quick format. Let's format this. I click format grid line. We just make it solid line. I'll just leave it to the gradient, automatic or gradient. We just give it a nice color, maybe dark blue or something like that. Cool. Now, how do you interpret this? You can see that we have each different personality traits in different angle of the polygon. So a perfect student or a perfect someone that will have a good personality trait will have a perfect pentagon. Now for this, I think we have, this is for TT here. Consider TT is having a good personality trait. It have equal results for what? For each agreeableness, extroversion, neuroticism, and so on. While for Catherine, here Catherine is having more of agreeableness personality trait, then extroversion, then openness, and skewing away from conscientiousness and neuroticism. While on the other hand, for Benga here is more of a conscious person and a neurotic personality rather than what? Being agreeable, open, or extroversion. And that is how you interpret this type of charts. So there you have it, radar charts in a nutshell. The number 17 type of chart and graph we'll be looking at is what is called the surface and contour chart, which is commonly used to plotting data in 3 dimensions to find optimum combination of values. So examples of data set or variables you can use for this chart type are accident rates by the hour of the day and day of the week, elevation by latitude and longitude, or cookie deliciousness by oven temperature and baking time. Our pro tip is that don't use surface chart if a simple heat map will tell the same story, and also avoid using wireframe chart type when possible, as they can be difficult to interpret. So let's jump into Microsoft Excel and take a demo. So for this demo, we've got an array of car accident frequency in Lagos, Nigeria between the year 2010 and 2013, plotted by day of the week, hour of the day, and the frequency of each accident. So to insert a surface chart, all I have to do is select the array of data set here, like this. Go to the Insert tab. Under this section, it says surface here. We have to have different type: wireframe, days, contour, and contour. Don't try that. Just go for this simple one, and let's make that bold. And then here it is. So how do you interpret this chart type? Let's give it an axis title. Let's call it a chart title rather. Frequency of accidents. Let's call it frequency, so we know what we're looking at. Make it bold. Increase the chart size. Also, let's give it axis title. Axis title, because we have 3 axis titles: primary, horizontal, which is hour of day, my vertical going to be frequency, basically accident frequency, last but not least, which is this. Let's call it day of the week here, day of week. And here it is. Then how do you now interpret this thing? Well, to be sincerely speaking, it's pretty tough to interpret, but the only solution you can have is to customize the color to show what you really want. And to do that, you have to come down to this legend here and just each select the legend and give it a cool color that you like. You can just give it a feel that you like. I'll just go for black here. You see, so those colors shows you the amount of frequency, the days of the week, and the frequency of accident happening in those periods. While the higher the level of the charts, the higher the number of accidents. Let's go to the 100 and 120 side. Just change the color, maybe something like red. See accident of not really showing. Just give it a feel of. You can see that those places that's having a color of red with a higher elevation is what are those sides that we have the highest number of observation, and that falls within 100. I think this is 80, this is 100, and the hour of the day is between 16th hour of the day, which is in the evening, and early morning of the day between 9 and 10. That way we have higher frequency of accident, and you have to basically customize the color to show what you want to see. But I'll prefer you use an heat map in this section. So there you have it, surface and contour charts in a jiffy. And number 18 type of chart and graph we'll be learning today is called the stock chart, which is commonly used for visualizing stock market data, including volume, high, low, open, and close pricing. And so this is a type of chart that is actually very specific in nature. You get it now. So example of data so you can use with it is Facebook's daily stock performance in 2021 or any other year you can think of. High, low, and closing prices for Google in Q1. Relative performance across multiple stock. So Pro tip here says that manually set axis minimum and maximum values to enhance readability. So you can also switch from a date to a text axis to eliminate gaps when markets are closed. So let's jump into Microsoft Excel and have a demo. For the stock chart demo, this data set we are looking at is the daily trading volume for Apple stock with 5 elements that make up a stock chart, which is the volume, open, high, and low close prices. So to insert a stock chart, all I have to do is select this column B to G, go to the insert tab. Under this section, you can see we have our stock chart here, and you notice here we have this is showing high, low, close, but what I selected was 5 elements. You have to make sure the chart type I'm selecting is of 5 element chart type. Then this one is open, high, low, close. This one is volume, high, low, close. You can see boom, and this chart comes up volume, open, high, low, and it has to be in that order. This chart is very specific, and you have to be very careful when you're using it. And that is done. You can just create a space to make it larger so you can all see it. Let's give more space, and boom. Yep. So let's give it a chart title. This is Apple stock price. Let's make that bold. Let's make this bold. Let's make this one too bold. Let's make this bold. You get it now? Let's insert that there, and boom. You can see we don't have any axis, horizontal axis title. Let's go to chart design and have some axis title pretty fast. That is the dates. You can just leave that or give it an axis title of dates. Since we know dates already, make it bold. This is the volume of trade. Make it bold. And the last one, oops, secondary, yep. This is the prices. Make it bold also. And cool, we are cool to go. You notice this doesn't look well, so we can just format this axis here to a minimum of, let's make it a minimum of 80, and boom, this looks perfect to read. And you notice also there's a pro tip that says this probably a weekend that the stock are closed, so you can just format this axis here also to make the chart look more readable. First of all, we change it back to a number type for dates. Let's select dates, and let's only look at the day and month since we are looking at year 2012. And cool. Also, let's eliminate those gap, those weekend, just change it to text, and boom, perfect. We have a perfect formatted charts. Now that we've formatted our chart to look perfectly well, then how do you interpret this type of chart? Well, we have the volume which is shown by the column in blue. So the column shows the trading volume per day. That is daily trading volume. We also have the box and the whiskers, which has a vertical line, shows the minimum and the maximum price per day also, just like our box and whisker chart earlier. So the box also has a white box and a black box, like a white transparent box and a black filled box. So the white box shows that stock started low and closed up, while the black box proved that what stock started at the top and closed down. And basically that is how you interpret this type of chart in Microsoft Excel. Thank you. The number 19 type of chart and graph we'll be looking at is what is called the heat map. And sincerely speaking, this is not actually a chart that you go to the insert tab and you insert in Excel. It is a very funny trick using what is called color scale. And heat map is commonly used for visualizing trends or relationship using color scales. So example of data set of variables you can use with the heat map is accidents rate by time of the day and day of the week, average temperature by city by month, or average sentiment by hashtag. So pro tip says use easily understood color scales, i.e. maybe red to green, and apply custom formatting to add cell values on your heat map. So let's jump into Microsoft Excel and say some heat map. So on the heat map demo tab, we have average temperature for 10 cities from January till December. So to insert a heat map is quite simple. All I have to do is select my data ring like this, and this time I'll be going to the insert tab as we've been doing since the beginning. I'll just stick to the home tab, and I'll come to this conditional formatting, then color scales. You can see when I hover my mouse, I have different color. Then I'll just go for this blue, white, red color. I think this is cool. Let's go for this other one, red, white, blue color scale also. This is pretty cool to give that temperature effect on our chart. Just look at that. You can see it's telling me that what this period between June, July, August seems to be the hotter period of the day in Phoenix or whatever country it is. And you can see the lighter the color, I think the more cold it is. So it's just based on what you're trying to interpret the color as. You get it now. So one pro tip here is that you can hide these numbers that is showing in the background. All I have to do is just right click and format not cell. Under the custom tab here, let me just bring that here. Rather than type in general, I'll just do this trick here, 3 semicolon, 1, 2, 3, and hit enter. Boom, and my numbers goes away. You can see I have a cool chart now which is showing how the temperature is for each different city. When I select the cell, the number is still there. You can see the number is still there, the numbers are still there, and that is how you insert an heat map or create an heat map just based on color scales, and that's how you interpret it. So the number 20th type of chart and graph we'll be looking at what is called the Sparkline. And the Sparkline is a miniature version of a line chart or column chart packed into a single cell. So example of data set you can use with the charts with the Sparkline chart is average temperature by city by month or profit by quarter. So pro tip here says that when you change the data source for a Sparkline, it automatically updates. So let's jump to Microsoft Excel and actually visualize the Sparkline. For the Sparkline demo, we have same data set from our heat map scenario. So Sparkline will just be inserted in any selected cell. So I'll just select this cell here. It's just so simple and straightforward. All you have to do is select the cell, go to inserts, then a line, either insert a line, a column, or a win and loss. I'll just stick to the line. It's going to ask for the data range. Let's bring this here. Let's select this like this. Click on this. It's going to ask, choose where to you want the Sparkline to be placed. Select this cell and then click on OK. And boom, it just insert a Sparkline. You can change it to different ones. Like you can change it to a column type. You can change it to a win and loss. I'll just stick to the column. And I can play with to display the high points in any color, low points, or first points. Let's just stick with the high point. I think this is cool. You can change different type here. You can switch. I'll just stick to this. And basically that's it. And what cool thing is that you can just copy the Sparkline just like a regular cell formula down, and boom, it updates. So that's how you insert a Sparkline. The number 21 type of chart and graph we'll be looking at is what is called the combo chart. And the combo chart is commonly used to train two variables on different scale. A combo chart is a combined line and column chart to visualize two metrics at once. So example of data set you can use the combo chart is any combination of volume and rate metrics, especially metrics on entirely different scale. So pro tip says that you should create a combination chart or a combo chart or a combination chart. You must use a 2D chart such as 2D line, 2D column, scatter, or bubble charts. So let's jump into Excel and let me show you how to create a combo chart. So for the combo chart demo, we got a combination of volume metrics and rate metrics on this tab here. You'll notice that there's a huge gap between the numbers. So let's insert a 2D column and see how we can choose between just two single metrics and visualize them. So I'll just go to my insert tab, insert a simple 2D column in blank canvas. So I'm going to select two metrics here just to make it simple. Just right click and select data. I'm going to work with these clicks and percent click. I'm just going to select this. Series name should be clicks. Series value should be the value here. I'll select that. Okay. Now add and allow the horizontal axis will be the months. Just select that. Now add another series name with the percent click, and the figure will be this. I'll click on OK. Also for the month, super fast. Click on OK, then boom. And you'll notice there's something wrong here. The chart is showing that there's two different variables or metrics on the chart, but we're not seeing anything. So to get that, let's right click, change data, and come down here to combo charts. And you notice it is already suggesting the percent click should be what? The dollar per click should be turned into a line chart. When I select this and put on the secondary axis, when I click this checkbox, see what happens, and boom, the line chart is displayed. When I click on OK, and voila, we have a secondary axis here. And just make that bold, just make this bold, and boom. And let's give it some axis title, chart design, axis title, horizontal, which is our month. You don't even need to give that month. My vertical, which is our clicks. our rate per click. And we are good to go. Let's give it a chart title. Also give it some quick formatting. Right click, format axis. You can make it a smooth line. Change the color to something dark blue. Change this color also. Like green. Sorry, not that. Like green or whatever color you like. This is totally up to you. I'm just trying to show you how to format and customize the charts. And boom, you can see how to make a combo chart in Excel. Okay. EPA. So the last type of chart and graph we'll be looking at is what is called map. And map is also known as choropleth map. Is commonly used for visualizing location-based data. There's also an option to use a 3D map in Excel, also called power map. I'll try to show you how to use both map in a quick demo. For example, data set you can use for this chart type is frequency of accidents by street address, unemployment rate by country, or average rainfall by state. Support it says use Excel Power Map plugin to create geospatial visualization and animate changes over time. You can also use attributes like color and size to visualize multiple attributes at once. So let's jump to Microsoft Excel and do the final chart type. So for this demo, we've got state level data with average household income and state population. So to insert a map or a 3D map, you have to make sure you're selecting only the range containing the data. So I'm going to use a shortcut here called Ctrl Shift Alright, then arrow down to make sure to select only that range of data. So first of all, I'm going to insert a normal map. To show, just select this, insert map, field map, and boom, it insert a normal map in Excel for me. I'll just delete the chart title since we know what we are looking at. We are looking at population by country. You can see, except you are very familiar with the map of that particular country, it may be tough to read. When we look at this population for California, I think with the highest population, you can see the legend shows the lighter the blue, the lower the population, the darker the blue, the higher the population. I'll just delete this. Let me show you another type of map. So when we have same range selected, I'll go to the insert tab and click on this 3D map. When I select that, it's loading. So this window pops up. All I have to do is just click on it and it opens in a new window. And boom, you can see it opened in a new window for me. I can just delete this legend there. Initially, you can turn it to a round map. I can leave the map label. I can delete this layer. And I'll delete that and make it a blank layer. And then I can add a layer to it from my data range and make it a flat map here. Add map labels. You can see I can zoom in also. Let me just delete this top button here. You can have a better visualization. I can zoom in. You can see that. Then I can add fields. Heights. You can add the height if I want. Maybe I want to look at the average income as the height, and this column or bar comes up. I can just delete this. Remove. I can also add another field to it. I can also add average population. Let's make it a clustered column. As you have different visualization here, clustered column, you can see. Okay, let's try. Let me just delete that for this. Now let's go for this last one here. This is where I'm going, which is way more cooler. I can add the layer option here. I can come down to the color scale and make it darker. I can reduce the opacity. You can also change the color. Maybe let's change it to red or something like green. And boom. And I think this power map is cool. You can also look at it, you can see the state of California. You can also add field list. You can see it's showing the state of California is having the highest average income. Let's zoom in. I can move it the way I want and zoom in also. You can see. Now let's go back to the color scale a little bit. Okay, let's reduce the opacity or see increase it. You can see, so the darker the color, the higher the average income. You can see the state of California is having the highest average income, followed by the states here also. That's almost 70, and so on and so forth. And that is how you use the power map in Excel, I think, which is much more interactive and much more visualistic, go to the eye, than the regular map in Excel. You can also capture your screen here and use the visualization in any other charts you want to use, any other PowerPoint or presentation you want to use it at. So congratulations, thanks for making it this far through this video. I really do appreciate that. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. And if you love to see another video on Excel or other BI tools on this channel, you can use the link in the description of this video to request a tutorial, and I'll be happy to make that for you based on the number of requests. Until next time, bye for now. I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye.